Hey everyone, welcome back. This is our review of Spike Lee's Da 5 Bloods. That is me, Victor.
I'm still Nick.
And Ryan.
So we are going to go into a somewhat casual, spoiler-free, as free as we can get
Yeah.
discussion. We don't want to go too in depth. We're just going to kind of give you our baseline opinions, and yeah, we'll just jump right into it.
Sure. And if you want to know more, it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix film. If you got the subscription, just watch it. So let's rip into the synopses here. Defy Bloods. We catch up with four African American war veterans in modern day Vietnam. It's kind of there for a reunion of sorts, but also there with other intentions. See, back in the Vietnam War, him and these four and their squad leader, Storm and Norman, stumbled across a downed plane carrying gold. So they stashed away the gold and with the intent of coming back for it years later when the stars align. So now those stars have aligned, they're venturing upriver to look for this gold and also the remains of their fallen comrade. They're braving elements, they're braving scoundrels, they're braving every kind of danger possible, all for their friend and some money.
All right, so what'd you guys think?
Whoa.
Wow. Wowee. Dude,
Yeah.
Spike Lee, man. I'm getting more interested in his catalog every new movie I watch.
So this is my second Spike Lee film. Nick, same with you, I think.
Third, I've
Third.
seen Do the Right Thing
Oh, right.
and Black Klansman.
And Ryan, this is your first. I'm assuming, right?
Second, but the other one was I was a kid, so
Got it. Okay. I don't know. I was really into this.
Me too.
me too.
I
Yeah.
was excited the moment I heard about this movie. It's like Spike Lee, Vietnam movie. Let's go.
Yeah. From the very opening too, I love the way he. Same with Klansman. I don't know about his other films, but the way he uses like, uh, real life footage and
Yeah.
um,
I was
information.
ballsy in this one.
Oh
It
yeah.
was. Yeah, he was pretty liberal with his uses of that, and
Yeah.
somehow it really, I don't know, I think it works pretty
It
well.
works.
Oh yeah.
It really works, and it's kind of cool how he's making himself prominent even when he's not on camera. That's a nice effect going on there.
See, that's the thing. I'm like, even though not all of it worked for me, the amount of passion that you can see in this film,
Oh yeah.
and it is so just like there. The passion and the just the love for what he's doing is
Oh
just like
yeah.
so strong.
There's a definite creativity going on here. Specifically, I love his editing and his camera shots in this movie. Probably some of my favorite I've seen of his so far because the
Mhm.
movie plays around with aspect ratios a lot. So for the Vietnam flashbacks, you get 4x3 Academy. Then in the modern day, it's widescreen CinemaScope, and then once they're in the jungle, it's just full screen, and it's very cool in that way. And the editing also has some great tricks in it too. It's just really creative. Either way, though, it's got a unique visual style, whether you love it or hate it.
Oh yeah.
That's you find that a lot in Spike Lee's filmography, I'd imagine, just from going off of what I've seen so far.
Most of his
But
movies this long?
no, I was quite surprised.
How's the runtime?
This is a hefty boy.
Yeah,
Two and
luckily though, did the runtime feel like, did you feel the runtime with this one really, or what?
oh,
Yeah.
for the most part, this was flying pretty well.
I felt it a lot in the early of the second act. And
Mhm.
Once they start making their journey into the jungles, then it picks up a bit.
third act got me though. Third act I was back into it.
Yeah, and I think what really helps too is the chemistry between all the characters. I was
Oh
really
man,
buying their
Delroy.
relationship and their friendship.
Delroy
Yeah.
Lindo. Let me tell you something.
Whoa.
Let me tell you something about Delroy Lindo. I grew up watching him in a ton of '90s action movies, stuff like Broken Arrow, Congo, the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds. He's a great actor, but I never saw too much outside like character roles of him. Then I see him in this movie and just whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, he definitely
Holy crap.
stood out the most for me as well.
He
T-
was my favorite character. And I feel kind of conflicted in it because he's kind of the most antagonistic of the group, but at the same time,
Right.
the script gives him enough uh gives you enough to empathize with him and it yeah, this man is suffering. He's a war veteran. He sees ghosts in his sleep and stuff. So you can't hate him all the time. And the movie does a great job reinforcing the reasoning behind his madness.
Some interesting stuff beyond his anger issues and stuff that I thought was an interesting choice, especially for Spike Lee to have in his movie. He always has strong messages, but this one especially had a very strong message that's relevant and
Hmm.
definitely fits with the theme of what's going on in the world right now.
Oh,
And it
Oh
it's
yeah,
was
very timely.
yeah, it was good time to release this one, and I feel like it's
man,
a pretty darn good message to hear right now.
I agree. Yeah, in some ways, this feels just for compare. Just while I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of comparing this to Black Klansman in my head right now. Black Klansman was like felt like a dire warning, and that the fight's still raging on. I feel like the Five Bloods is a little more. I don't want to say compassionate. I don't want to say lighthearted. I guess a little more hopeful because there's a theme going around that with the soldier team, they're constantly talking about their friend Norman and how he was the rock center of the group, kept him in line.
Yeah.
If I could we talk about one scene in particular?
Yeah, if it's not too much into, not too big of a
No, I
spoiler.
think it's I think, like around halfway into the movie. There's a pivotal moment where they discover where they're in Vietnam. It's a flashback scene. They discover Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated back home,
Oh yeah.
and they just start and the troops just start raging out. The soldiers they just want to get their anger on, but Norman just talks them down, tells them basically to keep cool and just remember what we're fighting for and whatnot. And then they just go into a frenzied uh they just unload their weapons in the air and whatnot. They're just kind of just letting that anger out, so forth. So I took that as using that scene. I took that as there's some kind of hope, some kind of theme of hope going on in this movie compared to something like Black Klansman, which is more harsh and brutally honest. Not to say this one isn't honest about the situation, but you probably get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that 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 sign of hope that Norman represents, and I really appreciate having that character that was sort of stood out from the group. And since he's gone, it's kind of creating this very muddy situation for the group where they each have their different uh, ideals, and they don't really flow together all too well, especially with Paul's character. He kind of has different opinions, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to see how those kind of play into each other. But I I just thought like when it plays playing the whole relevancy bit of it, how it plays into like the war never really ends. They mention that quite a bit throughout the film.
Mhm.
Um, whether that's war in foreign countries or racial tension, it's like
Or
no matter older generations, newer generations, they're going to be affected no matter
yeah.
what. It seems like, and
Even your own inner demons, there's a war going on.
exactly. And I think that was such a the way it's presented and executed is very, very what's the word? Poignant.
Mhm.
I felt it. It was
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah, the
well
metaphorical
done.
stuff in this was incredible.
Wicked stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, props to Chadwick Boseman as Storm and Norman. I've loved that guy for the longest time.
Hmm.
Another great role for him.
It was great in this.
I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Dude
one
almost made me
scene.
tear up
Good
later in the
grief.
movie.
Oh
Oh my.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Why'd this have to be spoiler free?
I just figure since it's so soon since it's released, I don't know. I feel like it'd
No,
be kind of,
I know.
but I know I want to talk more about it.
This is not a spoiler, but there's a one take where a guy has like a monologue
Oh yeah.
later in the movie. Watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Bro, that was
Oh, tell me
haunting.
about it. Yeah.
That was
Watched it 3
haunting as
times in a
shit.
row. It's so good. The performance is perfect.
Dude, if Delroy Lindo does not get an Academy Award nomination this year,
He's incredible in this.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
flip a bitch. That would be ridiculous. That'd be a
I was also
crime.
really impressed with the tension in certain
Oh,
moments.
Hmm.
oh man, yeah, yeah. Cause Oh, okay. There's another moment, very pivotal story beat or story event. I was just waiting for something to happen because there it's a moment of celebration for the characters, and it's supposed to be that way for the audience too, because the music's going, they're whooping and cheering, you see what they've accomplished, and I'm just been conditioned to think in this way. Okay, something's going to happen. It's too happy right now.
It was very heavily foreshadowed.
Oh man, absolutely. And then the following comes up, and it kind of pulls an American Graffiti in a way. The way what I mean by that is in American Graffiti, George Lucas, what he said making that movie was he'd use the soundtrack for the realism and sound effects for drama. So like for the fun parts in that movie, you'd have like a Johnny Be Good playing or something, and then when the drama kicks in, nothing. This one I feel is the same psychology because we have the one scene, everyone's happy and having fun, and Terrence Blanchard's score is going off, which is really good, by the way. I really like the score in this movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then the following scene, just sound effects, dread, tension. It's unbearable in the best way.
Yeah, it's another thing. The music, the use of Marvin Gaye in the movie.
And I
There's
loved it.
there's that one where there's
I was,
no instrumental. It's the what's happening or
yeah,
what's going on.
it's just the isolated vocals
Yeah.
of Marvin.
Mm.
I was gonna
I
ask you guys, you're not the biggest fans of needle drops in movies, but what did you guys dig them okay in this?
This was well used for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting choice to use the vocal version instead. It
Yeah.
felt a little weird to me, but I still enjoyed it, and um, even the other uses of his music and other tracks, I
Oh
was
yeah.
definitely into it. There's the one scene where they're hiking and they're all singing one of his songs together.
Yeah.
I was really into
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, the whole brotherhood camaraderie
Oh
comes
man, the
through
chemistry
so
between
heavily.
everyone was so good.
Yes,
Amazing. So great.
and I would like. I don't know if it's kind of a spoiler, but Paul's son joins them.
Mhm.
Well, that's early on in the
Yeah,
movie.
so that's not too much to it, but I do like how they added the a younger person to the mix to kind of
Yeah, and he quickly grows into his own and as far as an identity within the squad.
Mhm.
And so that's great what they did with him. He grows. He's
Yeah.
growing as a
Plus
person.
his relationship with his father was really uh very moving.
It really
Uh
was.
and I
Very
really
complex too. It's almost
absolutely
like it's like an emotional seesaw just going back and forth.
exactly good way of putting it.
I do have one critique with the movie.
Hmm.
The action scenes. I was
Not
underwhelmed.
good
Yeah.
at all.
No, on the one hand, they're staged fine. The geography is set up pretty good, but gun acting, as I like to call it, CG muzzle flashes and the actors shaking still props. That kills a lot of the authenticity going on.
Mm.
I was
It
very bummed out, and there's a decent amount of action. There's some gunfighting going on, but there's
yeah.
nothing.
I
I
started
can't.
laughing during I think it was the first shootout in the Vietnam flashback, and I was like, this is terrible. And I know that because this is how I would stage an action scene, and I'm not good at
Yeah,
that. So
this I feel like one of my backyard short films was better done than
I
this
know it
movie.
looks like some YouTube quality. It was
God,
not
yeah,
good.
Do you think
yeah.
that's due
They're
to
in
the
the
way
hell.
it's
Yeah.
stitched together or the
Well,
cinematography?
yeah.
All of
The
it.
cat.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's all of it. Yeah, funny you mentioned the camera work. Sometimes was more still. Like when in the helicopter, it's just there's nothing hiding the fact that these actors are shaking wooden props essentially, and it's kind of embarrassing. It kills sort
There's
of the.
one bit where guys doing like burst fire on an M4, and I mean an M16,
Yeah.
and it stopped shooting the middle of him getting the shoulder kicks and everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, no, that's you're
Yeah.
Spike Lee. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I saw he did a war film over 10 years ago,
Yeah.
Miracle at St. Anna. I need to watch that now to make sure he's not an incompetent action filmmaker. Because there are directors out there who are great directors, but can be either mediocre or poor action directors. For instance, Victor, don't hate me for this, but Christopher Nolan for a
Uh-huh.
bit here. his Batman movies, he can never quite nail how to do action as far as the Batman character. And you
Yeah.
kind of see that throughout the trilogy. So Batman Begins is very shaky and disorienting. Dark Knight is a little bit better, but still can't quite find a unique visual identity. Dark Knight Rises, it opens up a lot more, so and just lets stunt work do the show.
Yeah,
Stunt work.
it could just be that neither of them are too uh don't have too much experience in shooting action like that. So
For
that's
Yeah.
sure.
understandable. But yes, that those moments did come off kind of a little iffy.
I was really bummed out because and you know what? There's expectation involved. Someone like Spike Lee, I would have killed to see what he could do with Vietnam War action,
For sure.
Now you seen it. We don't want it.
and I don't want it. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really big letdown, but I was honestly like cringing waiting for it to happen. I'm like, I can't imagine this man having a strong action vision, and he
yeah,
doesn't apparently.
not quite. Shoot,
What do you guys think of
but
like the oh sorry, go on.
no, just I was gonna add in. At least I can see everything. He doesn't just shake the camera and edit rapidly. I can still see everything going on.
That's not exactly a good thing with how those guns were looking, though. You know
No,
what I'm
it's
saying?
not. But I'm being optimistic here.
What do you guys think about the writing in general, like the dialogue and
Wow.
whatnot?
Really
Yeah,
good, especially when when the veterans are talking with each other. That is definitely the words of men who have seen everything and seen everywhere, been
absolutely.
everywhere. Also, kind of curious. I'm noticing Spike Lee between this and Black Klansman. Spike Lee's doing this a lot. He's working in kind of like mini Black history lessons in
Mhm.
his writing because characters will casually reference uh African American figures. And I'm just thinking, it's not. I'm just thinking like, okay, if this is a white guy, they would never just reference Abraham Lincoln or Ben Franklin out of nowhere. There's a reason for it in the scripts, but it's kind of it's kind of like a double take thing. It's like I didn't mind it too much, but when I heard someone mention what is it? I guess the first guy killed in the Boston Massacre. I was like, "What? Okay, all right."
Well, I think that we don't really need to bring up Abraham Lincoln and
No, I'm
George
just saying.
Washington, just because I think we all
Well, I
know who
said
those
Ben
people are.
Franklin.
Well, same
I
thing.
meant that. No, I meant that it's like you just got out of a history class and you just got this knowledge and you're just sharing it right after you heard it. That's the feeling I sort of got at first before they explained why in the
Interesting.
movie.
Yeah, I will.
Well,
Yeah, and as
I
in
guess
context
okay.
and everything.
Better example be like if I just casually mention like, oh, just like we're making it just like Henry Ford did, just rising through the top, whatever. Uh,
Yeah,
Spike
that's
Lee is
personal
more
opinion.
of a political director. He likes to
absolutely
put
Yeah,
messages into his movies, and regardless if it's basic, he wants it in there. He
exactly.
definitely has a voice
yeah,
and wants everyone to hear it. And it's not, I don't say that in bad term. I mean,
of
he has
No,
a
it's
course,
just the
voice
truth. Yeah,
and wants people to hear it.
of course, yeah, and I don't have a problem with it either, but. It's just curious. I guess it's just me noticing his writing style. Most everyone's
sure.
got their writing style. Shyamalan's got his writing style. Tarantino's got his writing style. So on and so on. This is a very story heavy movie. I guess I will say some characters not quite as interesting as the veteran characters.
Hmm.
Cause
Yeah, the
like
villain, the antagonists that come up later, kind of. Eh.
yeah. Yeah, the villains not the side characters that cross paths with the veteran characters. All right, fine. Yeah, and even yeah, that's all I gotta say about the side characters. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not quite as interesting as the veterans.
You can definitely tell the bulk of the focus went on the leads for sure.
Oh yeah,
Of
Other
course,
characters have a lot less to say. They have a lot less backstory and just overall relatability.
absolutely.
Man, those mains are incredibly
Oh
written.
my
I was
goodness, goodness gracious.
glued whenever what's his character's name? Paul?
Yeah.
I was glued whenever he was on the screen.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
I
Yes.
could not believe it. Ugh.
Oh man, dude, Delroy Lindo.
My
That's all.
favorite of the year for performance, honestly,
Yeah,
right
Me
yeah,
there.
seriously.
too. Good Lord in
Out of
heaven.
the 3 movies we'll be doing for our top 10 of the year, this is
Yeah,
probably one.
Yeah.
I believe that. This,
Oh,
this is
jeez.
top 5 easily.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved it. It's
Good
a lot
question.
of
Did you guys do it in 1 sitting or 2? I had to do it in 2.
Well,
one.
when you say sittings, does that mean like get up and use the bathroom? Does that count as one sitting
Did you
still?
take any breaks during the movie? Did you interrupt it?
Yeah, a couple times.
Uh, once to make lunch, and that was it. I don't even count that as a break. A break to me is when you shut off the TV or the device itself and
Yeah.
leave.
I
for
started it
seconds.
really late. I don't know why. I just really wanted to watch this at like 1 in the morning last night. And it's going on, and I don't say this in a bad way because it's a long movie, but it's been going for what feels like probably the better half of a decade. And I'm like, all right, how much movie is left? I need to go
Especially
to
at 1
bed
a.m.
like soon.
Yeah.
And
Hold
dude,
it.
it's like still got, oh man, it was like that point where it's like you stick it out. There's like 45 or 50 minutes left, and it's just that point where it's like I could stick it out, but I don't think I should.
Dude, that
Yeah.
happens to me all the time. The last 40 minutes.
Yeah, the last 40 minutes, it's just long enough to be like, well, then it's past like 3 or 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this
Otherwise, you're like, oh, otherwise I come back to like half an hour of movie.
Right.
Piss.
yeah.
A
There is
dilemma.
there is that. This movie does feel on the long side for sure. Maybe it could have been tighter, but I'm not quite skilled in storytelling enough to know what could be cut out or
For sure.
condensed
Same.
or combined.
There was some
Still,
interesting, really interesting, like French new wave cuts in here. I think they were trimming it down to the best of their ability because there's like
hmm.
jump cuts in scenes, and I was like, whoa, 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 that's awesome. Why'd you do that?
Hmm.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also Jean Reno. This is like a '90s movie
Oh, yeah.
reunion a little bit. I was glad to see him in that movie. He's definitely an underrated French actor
I
or
haven't
just
seen him
actor
since
in general.
Godzilla.
Ugh. Yeah. I haven't seen him since the Pink Panther remake. Yikes. I'll just say I like the Apocalypse Now references going around.
Yes, the Apocalypse Now
Now.
bar dance club.
Yeah, and then they're going upriver to the Ride of the Valkyries, of course.
Yes, yes.
Of course.
That was so goofy
It was pretty goofy, yeah.
because it was so casual. That was such a good joke.
Yeah, I loved it. Victor, watch Apocalypse Now already, dang it.
I know.
Look out for that
One day.
next time. One day. Maybe we'll cover it. I don't know. Okay, ratings.
Nick, you go.
All right, I'll give this a solid 4. Everything else, everything is great, but except the action scenes. If those were better, I would rate this a lot here. But as it stands, excellent writing, excellent writing, excellent tension, meaty metaphorical storyline, near flawless acting performances. Let's be real here. Yeah, I really dug it. One of my favorites this year.
Nice, Ryan.
I think I'm also gonna give it a 4. It's
Oh.
excellent writing. The editing was fascinating. Use of photography, like actual photos, I loved it. I want to
Yes,
do that in short films now. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that. Dialogue is just phenomenal, and Del Rey was just yeah,
Delroy.
like Delroy is.
I'm giggling just thinking
All
about
I
him
can
now.
do is I just want to watch that monologue again.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a solid 4. I would give it 4.5 if it felt faster, but that's me.
And
Yeah.
if the action scenes were better.
I would
You,
hope.
Victor?
Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go with a 4 as well.
Yeah.
Unanimous
4s all
4.
around. Yeah, I love how passionately Spike is with his political messages and just how he wants to be heard. I find it to be very inspiring, and
Yeah.
I love his use of political commentary, relevant imagery. It's fascinating because you don't really see that in mainstream films.
Oh, he's
And I don't,
probably the biggest provocateur in terms of modern filmmakers, like
Absolutely.
mainstream modern filmmakers. He's probably one of the more provocative ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that maybe I wouldn't always be into, but it's just, I think the older I get, the more I really appreciate this type of storytelling, or just, I don't know. There's something about it that I really, really appreciate. Um,
Hmm.
and besides that, like, of course, I'm echoing everything you guys are saying. Uh, for a 2.5 hour long film, I think it uses its time pretty well. Like Nick said, it could be, maybe tightened a little bit.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know, but um, just some great storytelling and some very emotional moments throughout that I was just like, yes,
Oh,
just there's just some great moments.
This is
And
really emotional.
oh, it
oh,
totally is.
I was feeling it, brother.
When Norman puts out his fist in solidarity,
Oh,
I was just like,
yeah. Blood.
just in that
Blood.
the angle. There's just so many moments I love. So yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
solid 4, closer to 4.5.
And Delroy Lindo, though.
Yeah, no, yes, all the
We'll call
acting.
this the Delroy Gush Hour.
Yeah, the breaking the fourth wall made me very
That,
happy.
Oh man,
yes, it
yeah.
was such an interesting choice, but I think it it worked pretty
This was
darn well.
artsier than I thought it would be.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Interesting
Yeah.
choices. It's a good
Cool.
one.
Let's
Watch it. It's on Netflix. Like you can watch it.
Even if it
Do it,
takes you
audience.
three sittings, doesn't matter. Just definitely
We
check it
double
out.
dog dare you. Watch this freaking movie right now.
According to Netflix, this is #1 in the US in terms of what's being watched.
Shocking. No, I'm genuinely shocked. This is
I wonder
quite
if that's
amazing.
true. I wonder if Netflix is just lying.
Well, like everything else lies.
True.
Netflix
All right.
wouldn't lie.
Netflix would never.
Of course they wouldn't. Why would they?
All right. Well, I think that wraps things up. Hope you guys like the review. Give us a like. Check out the movie. And
Look us up on different platforms.
yes,
If you have an opinion on the movie, let's hear those.
yes. Drop
And
your
if you have
comments.
requests, drop them in the comments or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
Yes, we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know what to do. We don't have to tell you. Farewell, everyone.